Well, hello and howdy, everybody. This is General Beauregard coming at you for week 4 of the college football season. Well, it's been a very interesting season so far. We've seen Alabama come out in perfect form against that blue blood heavyweight Miami Hurricanes, and everyone thought they was loaded for bear once more. Turns out the Hurricanes wasn't quite what we thought, and now maybe that's true for Alabama. Maybe that's true for the Gators. Maybe that's true for Georgia. In fact, it's probably true for every team. We've only played 3 games. Back in the old days, everybody'd be undefeated at that point because nobody played anything but patses until they got to the conference games. Speaking of which, we will speak of the SEC. Coming up, we got LSU and Mississippi State. That's not going to be a ball game. Georgia's got Vanderbilt. Missouri's got Boston College. Texas A&M and Arkansas locks in as one of the biggest games of the week. Georgia State with Auburn, that's a nothing. And Tennessee and Florida, well, we as Georgia fans can just sit back and wonder and hope. South Carolina and Kentucky, Southern Miss and Alabama. They might be playing some games somewhere else. Like I said, we keep up with the SEC. And so, in so doing, we've only got 2 games to worry about. And that's Florida and Tennessee and Arkansas and Texas A&M. Those are the only 2 games that should affect the conference standings or the conference standing, as it were. So that Tennessee-Florida game is something that's should intrigue us, as Tennessee and Florida used to be the biggest game of the year, but Tennessee's dropped the bucket and has not held their end of the bargain in recent decades. Arkansas is the sleeper team of the year. It's going to be the team that if you want to win the SEC, you're going to have to be able to beat. Alabama hadn't seen them, and neither has Georgia. Alabama just saw Florida, one of the other teams you're going to have to beat if you want to win the SEC. So Georgia fans are watching Florida and Tennessee with their fingers crossed. And they probably ought to do more than that because Tennessee realistically doesn't have a chance. They're going into the swamp and has to do what Alabama tried to do, and that's beat Florida. But wait a minute, Alabama did beat Florida. Is Alabama and Tennessee on the same playing level? I don't think so. The shame with Tennessee is they got a quarterback that can throw it 2 counties away, but he can't hit the right county. And so he ain't helping them none, but Milton's was their starter. They're going to go, I don't know who they're going to go with. They're going to try to out-throw Florida and force them into throwing themselves and hoping they can stop the pass better than they can the run. The only chance Tennessee has is if their quarterbacks do catch a little lightning, unlikely on the road, and Florida becomes Florida and fumbles, and Emory Jones can't find which end of the football he's supposed to throw it from. They got another kid named Richardson. Florida always has the best quarterback on the bench, if you'll notice that, because they've always got one better than the one that's playing, and that seems to be the case this year. Richardson seems to be, from all accounts, and no one's really seen it, but they've heard, he's a lot better quarterback. I don't know how you would tell with limited amount of comparison time. Well, Florida's got 2 good choices or 2 bad choices, but whatever, they got 2 choices of quarterbacks, but the last one almost beat Alabama. So will the next one be able to do the job? See, here's the problem with Florida. It's going to be a matter of attrition. They have one trick, and once everybody's had a couple of weeks to look at it, that trick better get better, and I don't know how you can get better than they were against Alabama. The machine was working perfectly, and you have to hand your hat off to them. If that's the kind of team they're going to throw every week, Georgia and everybody in the SEC East has a problem. But we wanted to get into some specifics, and the game of choice for study and merriment would be the Arkansas, Mississippi, Texas A&M game. Why do I keep getting them mixed up? That's a game Texas A&M's supposed to win easy. Arkansas has become a gimme game in the last couple of years, but now that's not the case. They're a serious animal, and I think the dark horse and everyone's going to have to account for Arkansas. Georgia plays them this year, and that's something to be of at least some note. I didn't look at the schedule. I could find out. I don't think that Alabama has anybody in the East that they got to worry about. But I was going to check on Florida's schedule to see if they happen to play Arkansas. I had it in my head they did, but it looks like they don't have them this year. So that's the equalizer, because they played Alabama, and we play probably the next best team in the West. So that one silver bullet Georgia had might not be as silver as they thought. So everybody's going to have to watch this Florida Gators game. It should be a good one. We will do another episode later on to break that game down somewhat. But again, everybody's done that. I could break it down real quick for you. Tennessee and Florida is a game that no one should spend money on. It's a dangerous game. It's always a trap game, and the best team don't always win. No, sir, the best team don't always win. That's true in the SEC as well. In fact, the best team might not have won last week. Alabama might not be the best team on the field that day with Florida, and it might not be the best team in the West. That's a legitimate statement, but the season will tell us the answer. No human is going to know, so don't even bother getting on the comments and telling me about it. Especially when I know I'm right. The best team don't always win, and sometimes that's a good thing. That makes college football interesting. So the winner ain't necessarily the best team. It's just the team that won that day. They'll line it up and try it again. That's what the SEC is all about. Fans like to keep up with it because it matters, I reckon. But all Georgia fans know that they really want that championship this year, and they know that Florida's in the way. And Arkansas is a big boulder as well. So if you're a Georgia fan, I suggest you keep your temperament on an even level. And always, of course, go Dogs. Certainly, we can say that. I think Georgia's got a good football team. I'm going to spend a minute or two talking about it because everybody tells on the platforms how much Georgia ain't doing right. Here's what Georgia's got. They got a defense that might be the equivalent of that LSU offense. It might be a monster nobody really wants to tangle with, and it might not be. But if it is, Georgia will win this national title. It's going to ride it on defense. Their offense for Georgia seems to be good enough. We have yet to discover that as a fact. Personally, I think the offense will be just fine. I think everybody needs to be looking for this Georgia Bulldog, and thank goodness Florida is a distraction, keeping them from watching us so closely. So, gentlemen, it's a week to lay back. As the general would tell you, forage off the land Vanderbilt provides, and strengthen and girdle your flanks, as it might be a tough season for everybody here, and the one that's going to win ain't likely to be known till the very last moment. This is Joe Beauregard saying goodbye.